Hello and welcome back. This is Mystic Games. Today we're going to be talking Embarkation and territories on your overworld. I did an overworld video before. I've talked a little bit about the biomes in my tier list on which biomes I like the most and why. But we're going to go over Embarkation today, which is essentially when you go to embark on a tile, like what bonuses you can get, what you can pick from, and what the map has, and all these different things. So we're in a pretty good spot here. I think I parked myself where I literally have access to every different type of area. I believe I am correct on this. I believe I have cursed, yes. So we're in a good spot. I had to sacrifice one of my territories to do this, but it's fine. I've been wanting to make this video and it was holding me up. Anyways, let's click on the Royal Woodlands. So this is your Embarkation screen. You have your level of difficulty. I was just doing a veteran. You have settler, pioneer, veteran, viceroy. You can also name your settlement, so I can say Mystic's Place, you know, for my next settlement if I want to. And I will name the territory Mystic's Place. But generally, if you're a new player, I recommend you start off on Settler. It is nice and easy. Pioneers, like, once you kind of understand the game, Pioneer is a good place to go until you feel comfortable dealing with the stresses of Veteran and Viceroy. Just a self-comment here. I believe Veteran should have been the Viceroy difficulty, in my opinion, and Viceroy should have been, like, the first Prestige. But that's just my opinion. I think when they introduced Blight Rot and stuff, they made it more, I feel like there's a pretty relative difficulty increase in Veteran versus Pioneer, in my opinion. And then Viceroy doesn't feel as bad in between. Anywho, we're going to jump on Settler just to show everything, but so this is your screen here. You have your caravans, you have your summary, and then you have your conditions up in the upper left. So caravan, I have lizards, I have humans, and harpies, which is a good combination if you're looking for fertile soil. Lizards are good in meat maps, so like the mushroom forest, they generally do well in because it has a lot of eggs and meat in it, which they have a lot of like cornerstones and stuff for them that have to do with eggs and meat. And then we have humans, which is, you know, redundant because we already have this here. Normally in this situation, if I was going to go to the Royal Woodlands, I'd probably pick humans and harpies. We will talk about, you know, base goods are important, getting your citadel leveled up and getting certain base goods. You can watch my video on that. But you have to look at what resources you get as well. Like, you get 7 people here, 24 mushrooms and 12 copper bars. Here I get 8 people, 24 mushrooms, planks, eggs, and pie. So I would argue that the copper bars are actually a rarer resource, but having more planks in the beginning is very nice. For the lizards, we have eggs, veggies, sea marrow, and 2 more people. So you're going to get 8 people here as well. So then you have your summary. This is the Royal Woodlands. It tells you about it. It has an average amount of fertile soil. These are the rewards for running it on Settler. If we increase the difficulty, the rewards increase, but so does the length and difficulty of the match. Something to keep in mind, and you get more experience as well. We're going to keep it on Settler for now. So conditions. We have mild, and then you get 2 good ones, 1 bad one. On Pioneer, it changes, right? It increases. You still get 2 good, but you get 3 bad. Then you go to Veteran, you get 1 good, 4 bad, and this is why I feel like it jumps, by the way, because it just, the increase on resource costs and everything from this to this to this doesn't seem right. I feel like Veteran probably should at least gave you 2 good buffs, and then when you go to Viceroy, it should have did this. But that's my opinion. I feel like they just jumped into it a little bit quicker than necessary. They could have did 2 and 4 here. The important thing to know is on this screen is all this stuff, but it is also important to know what the biome offers. So each tree that you have has wood on it, resin, plant fiber, and eggs, along with the actual wood. So you get wood, plus resin, plus plant fiber, plus eggs, and there's like a percentage chance on each of these. I think wood on the Royal Woodlands is like 100% though. I think so. You always get 2 woods. If you have beavers, you're pulling potentially like 4 wood. It's just insane. Resin is pretty high, and then you have plant fiber and eggs as well, which I think is a 5% on the Royal Woodlands. Other resources that you can find in the territory are important as well. So you have berries, eggs, meat, vegetables, root, mushrooms, clay, plant fiber, scales, and sea marrow. So these are things that you can find on the map, right? So for the meat section, we are missing insects. We have no way of getting insects via the map other than getting cornerstones or things that provide us with insects. That's very important to know because you might want insects. For berries, you have access to them, but you do not have access to herbs, and I think it's just herbs for this one. And then veggies, roots, mushrooms. I'm trying to think of what the other one is. So mushrooms is the other one that goes with berries, and then it's herbs, I believe. So you don't have that. Then you have vegetables, roots, and I want to say there's one more that goes with it, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. Grain. There's no grain naturally spawning, and there's no herbs naturally spawning, and there's no insects. So one from each of the 3 buildings here. I'm cheating a little bit for memory's sake. Now, this does have average fertile soil, so right, if you want herbs, you can pick the herb garden, and you can just make your own herbs. If you want berries and plant fiber, which are both available, you can make the plantation, but you already have them, so this is kind of redundant. And then you have the small farm, which has vegetables and grain, which is not on the map, so you naturally anyways, so you can get grain from this. So these are ways to make up different resources that might not be available by using the fertile soil to do so for you. This is nice to know about. This is the Embarkation bonuses. Now I think I have them all unlocked honestly at this point, but each one will be able to provide me with additional resources up to 10. I actually have, you can see it, base is +3, and then I have 7 upgrades, so I have 10 total points. There's a reduction for the distance from the Citadel, but you don't have to worry about that early game. Reserving Embarkation points are earned by completing world activities. They are a separate pool of non-rechargeable points that can only be used once. So I have 11 saved up. I am very well off for the steel battle if I was going to do it. I am not doing it, but I have 21 points to pretty much use on my next settlement, and I'm just going to pick a bunch of stuff. That being said, anything from here is extremely useful to pick. So like I can easily and cheaply get the plantation if I want to bring it, or the herb. They're both 4 cost. The cost is the number that's in the upper right corner of the image. So the vegetables have a 1. That means they cost 1 point. This is a good way to give yourself resources in an advantage early on that may not exist in the map, or just may be advantageous to select. This is very important to pick the right stuff. So in this map, I'd probably take some sort of fertile soil. I normally would probably take either the herb or the plantation. I tend to like the plantation more, just in the hopes that I get the mushroom seedlings, because then this pretty much covers all my food sources. The herb garden, the roots overlap a lot with the mushrooms. So, but this is a stable source of food. Picking any of the gardens or the fertile soil buildings is usually a good start, as long as you have, average or higher. For example, let me show you guys another map. So we have the marshlands, which is the mushroom map. This has giant mushrooms in it. There's a lot of mushrooms here. You get wood with the tree, mushrooms, and leather, or at least these are your potential items you can get. You have eggs and meat, no insects again. You have mushrooms, right? Which is this building, or sorry, it's this building here, but you do not have any herbs and you do not have any berries on this map. So the herbalist camp isn't that great here because you don't really have too much access to anything other than mushrooms on this map. The same thing goes for the foragers camp. So on this map there's really no vegetables, and no roots. You only have grain. So picking this wouldn't be as valuable. Normally on this map I almost always pick the trappers camp. Now in this sense it's actually the most expensive building, which is unfortunate, but this is what I would pick, simply because it's the most useful. There's 2 chances that I'm going to have eggs and meat in zones comparatively to the 1 chance that I'm going to pull for either mushrooms or grain. Grain is also not a source of food in the sense that it can be eaten outright, which makes it a lot weaker. I would most likely pick the herbalist camp if I wasn't going to pick the trappers camp as a backup. You need to understand each map's resources. How much, this doesn't have any fertile soil, so I'm not going to pick a fertile soil building here because the likelihood I'm going to get it is very low. It's just a waste of points. My caravan would change too. I would take lizards here because I'm probably going to be using the trappers camp, and I'm going to be focusing on eggs and meat. Just, you got to look at what the map has to offer. I think that's my best tip on the Embarkation video here. But things change based on what you're going to do. I obviously have pretty much everything maxed out as well, unlocked for the Embarkation, so I have a lot of options. As you learn the game, you'll learn more what's more important and what's going to help you. But let's look at another map for, so we have the Royal Woodlands, we have the Curse. Let's do the Scarlet Orchard and the Coral Forest, because those are 2 of the more basic ones. This is DLC, which is the Coastal Grove. We won't talk about that. I've done a biome video on each. This is more how I would handle each of the biomes. So here you have average fertile soil. So this might be something I would take for fertile soil. There's going to be a lot of excavating here. There's a special building here for excavating. The trees have wood, copper, dye, which is nice, and plant fiber. You have meat, but the only meat, or sorry, you don't have meat. You have eggs. Sorry. So I wouldn't probably take the trappers camp here because the only thing that it's going to work on is eggs. Normally I wouldn't upgrade my trappers camp for eggs. We also have berries. So we have 1 thing of berries. We have herbs, so we do have use for the herbalist camp. We have roots and grain, which is okay for the foragers camp upgrade. We have stone, which you automatically, once you get high enough, you get the upgrade for that. Same with reeds. And then everything else is you're going to need to mine. So this one's a little more tricky. You're definitely going to want both the stone and probably the gathering for reeds, which is the harvester's camp, and leather. But you're also going to probably, here I would probably take, this is actually a hard one. I would take the forager's camp because it's cheaper than the herbalist camp. But I could see both of them being used here. I'm more likely to upgrade these 2 buildings throughout the run than I would be to upgrade my trappers camp. Now, that doesn't mean I might not RNG and pull eggs in every single biome and then not have the means to do them, and then I'd probably upgrade my trappers camp if necessary. In-game, it's different. You're going to get upgrades. This is just more for people that are new and have done it a couple times. You want to use your points to the best of their ability. Now, I would probably take 1 camp, which would be this camp in this case, right, for this map. Now, I don't have access to veggies or meat, so these are both good choices. We do have stone, we don't have clay, so clay is something I would consider. And I'm doing this at a lower level tier too, because normally, I can tell you guys straight up, I usually pick gold or amber or money. But if I'm a lower level player, you want to have access to that. Yeah, I'm thinking where you guys, closer to, a base of the Citadel. I'd probably take clay, because this is all going to help me get a little bit of resources that I don't have access to on this map. I would also probably turn consumption off on the upper right once you're in the world to not eat my veggies and my meat, if possible. Being that, in this map I'd probably go back to this, that'd be fine, because I'd still have eggs and mushrooms. I might even turn off the mushrooms in this case if I can get away with it, just to try to harvest more eggs or berries or something. And keep the resources I don't have any additional means to gather. That being said, like if I were to take another choice here, it'd probably just be eggs and roots. Maybe wood. Sometimes having wood is nice, but I do already have planks, so I'd probably factor that in and just probably say no to that. I might even take stone here just to make better roads, to get my speed up a little bit. That might be something I'd consider here for the 2 points. But you gotta look at the map, you gotta look at the caravan you gotta look at their needs. What do these guys need? And what the map has to offer. I mean, there's a lot of success and failures made right here. And the higher you get, the easier you get, because the more points you get, which essentially allows you to just be more successful. So I just wanted to do a little video here. I don't want it to run too long, but I think that's very important for you guys to know. Like, you got to take a look at the location. You got to see what it has, right? This would be decent for a trapper's camp. You have 2 resources that are usable for an upgrade there. It does have average fertile soil, so we could even take, a plantation or a herb garden. Here I'd probably take the plantation because we're going to need the berries. And I value berries and plant fiber a little bit higher than roots and herbs normally. We also have free meat and trees. You have crystallized dew here, so actually both these are both solid choices. I could even see me taking herb garden here over plantation. I normally only pick 1 fertile soil building, to be honest. But yeah, I just wanted to do a little video just to see if I could help some people out with embarking a little bit nicer. But yeah, so look at your species you have, look at the summary of the map, make sure you have, like what your fertile soil is looking like. Make sure you look at your natural resources on the map, look at the additional effects the map has, look at what your conditions are. This isn't super important until you get in the map, because the map will then load up and decide what negatives and what positives you get. All this stuff remains the same. This remains the same in the sense of, unless you increase difficulty, this remains the same. And then your species will remain the same until you embark and you either succeed or you fail at the settlement. As you guys can see in the bottom corner, one last thing I'll mention about just the overworld as we're here. You can see all my different settlements I made. This one took me a lot longer than the rest for whatever reason. I know why. I was actually trying to do an achievement there. I was dragging it out intentionally. I think I did the same thing here. That's why it was a little bit longer. This one was really short, and I succeeded very quickly. And then I failed. My next one pretty bad. I think I only did this for like a year or 2 years, and then I succeeded. I could probably do one more map, and then I'm going to do maybe one more after that, where I invest all my points because I'm not doing a seal, and then I'm done. Anyways, I just wanted to go over the Embarkation, really. Just really think about what species you're taking and the resources that are available to you. I think that's very important to know. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will catch you in my next video. And I wish you luck to all you and your caravan friends. Alright, catch you guys next time.